It's time to mind your business with me, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in to find out how to mind your business with BEDC, special guest entrepreneurs, industry experts, and more. Brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda business starts here. Welcome to Mind Your Business. I am your host, Jamillah Lodge, and you are Dennis Carter. You are the MSME Officer, and your area is St. George's. So before we get started talking about what we're here to talk about, why don't you just remind us what you do for BDC and how you support entrepreneurs?
Yeah, so it's great to be back. I feel like it's been a while since I've been on. So it feels great to be back. But yes, Dennis Carter. I am one of the MSME officers here. So essentially what I do is I have the privilege of working with entrepreneurs at the beginning of their journey, during their journey, and when they're like, I need someone to call. As well as getting to work with a lot of the businesses in St. George's. And of course, we work with the businesses island-wide, but we do have the 3 different economic empowerment zones. So St. George's, Northeast Hamilton. We actually have 4 now.
I was going to say.
Yeah, let me stand corrected. There's 4. So St. George's, Northeast Hamilton, Southeast Hamilton, and Somerset. So I'm more based in St. George's. But of course, we work with businesses island-wide.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about cocktails with creators. Now, my introduction to Cocktails with Creators was when it was held during Global Entrepreneurship Week in November. And that was a fabulous turnout. So now we're having a different day. Talk a little bit about that and why.
Yeah, so this event now has been running for about 5 years. So it was one of the very first events that I was put in charge of putting on. And the first one started at the Birdcage way back. It was actually 6 years ago. Yeah,
right?
It's actually 6 years ago. We had a break during COVID. But what we found with these events is, and particularly the one in November, was there was an oversubscription. Getting a lot of the feedback from that event, we were like, we have to do something else. Around the same sort of networking style. And the idea of Cocktails with Creators, it's more than just bringing entrepreneurs into the room. It's bringing the artists, the creatives, new entrepreneurs, people that just have those ideas. And it's like, where do I start? How do I move this forward? And put in people that are experienced entrepreneurs, people that are at the idea stage, creatives. We try and get them all in the same room. And what we found from the last one was it was oversubscribed. It was a great turnout. And a lot of the feedback from what we did was that we need to do it again.
Right.
So
this is the again.
So this is the again. Yeah.
Okay, so now why are we doing it now as opposed to being held in November?
So November, we have historically tied it into Global Entrepreneurship Week as a whole as usually the kickoff event. With this one, what we wanted to do was something a little more in the early evening time, summer, spring vibes, and get people kind of outdoors and kick off the summer with the event, just bringing people together.
Okay, so where is it going to be held this time?
So this specific one will be held at the Botanist on May 1st.
Okay.
So that's Thursday.
And for those who don't know, where is that located?
Yeah, so the Botanist is at the Botanical Gardens.
Beautiful.
So right next to, it's connected to Masterworks.
Yes.
And it is an amazing space and a great team there.
Okay, wonderful. So I'm looking forward to it. It sounds like a kind of spring fling, if you will. Nice to get out.
It's going to be a nice garden party.
Yeah, a nice garden party. Now, what are you hoping, what are you hoping to achieve from having held the event at the Botanist and getting people out and talking to each other?
So, speaking with guests that came last time, one of the biggest things that I found was people coming up to me afterwards and telling me about their connections that they've made, people that they've met. So one of the things that we did, which was interesting with the last one, which we'll do with this one as well, is we kind of had a bit of a bingo game. With that, what those prompts did was essentially connect people with generally someone you wouldn't just connect with on the street. It kind of gave them that extra incentive. And of course, we had stuff which we'll talk about that are tied to that bingo card. So it's not like you just fill out the bingo card, you meet some people and you drop it off. There's prizes and stuff, and then
incentivizing,
exactly.
Right?
And but it's what the feedback that we got was that the connections that were made were with we had different people. We had legal people in the house, fitness instructors. We had so many different types of entrepreneurs and creatives that it helped people to kind of get out of their regular comfort zone. A lot of times entrepreneurs and creatives, they're kind of in their space, usually tied up because running a business is a lot of work.
Yes.
So you don't really get out much. So we want to create that space where people can kind of come out for a couple hours, meet a whole bunch of people in a little amount of time, and use those connections to grow their business, to take their idea from just the idea stage to launching, or those creatives that are like, how do I monetize this? What do I do? How do I meet these people?
So you talked about the bingo game. It was a hit.
Yeah.
So are you planning to do exactly the same thing? Are you going to switch it up a bit? Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, so we will be doing the bingo game again. We're going to have different prompts. So the last one, we had some activation stations, which people were able to do, even just connecting with a BEDC team member. And what we'll do with this one is we're going to, we're working on the prompts right now, but we're going to have some fun prompts in there that really get people talking. And like I said, activation stations, we'll have a couple of those. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you found from having done it before that people really, really kind of responded to, or it resonated with them? Because I know sometimes networking can be, it's like, okay, networking, what's the weather like? How's it going? So what are some of the things that, because I'm thinking back to November, right? And I was in the house and I'm just remembering how lively and how natural it kind of felt. Do you think it was because of the bingo and how you started off the night?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what we tried to do with the last one with the bingo was to kind of have some easy things in there. So it was kind of a mix. It's randomly generated, but it's done through a lot of thought
Prompts.
into prompts of what we want to put in there. So some of the cards had more easy, just go speak to a BDC team member for 5 minutes, or small things like that. But what we're going to do with this one is we're going to do very similar to what we did with that, but we'll just have some new prompts in there, which I think we found just from hearing the feedback, people really enjoyed it. I mean, we had, it was around, all of them generally are around 100, 120 people. We always, and that's kind of our cap. Every single year we kind of meet that. And with this one, it was just super interesting to hear the feedback because so many people, we were just doing just one line.
Yeah, just one bingo.
Yeah,
people were doing the whole
people
card.
Were filling everything and they really made it a challenge. And, and with this one as well, what we're going to do different is if someone does want to do that, then for every line, it'll be, extra entries into the draws.
Okay.
That we'll have. And we're working on what those prizes are going to be, but we'll increase the amount of entries that people get for each line that they do this time, which will be a little bit different than what we did in November.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, who do you think should be in the room? Who should be attending this event?
So this event, I mean, it's great for everybody, whether you're just starting in business, whether you've been operating a business, if you're in the creative space, content creating space, this is really going to be the place for them. And at the same time, what we're also looking at doing is inviting the banks, law firms, and the people that you would need to deal with, whether you're setting up an account with the bank, for example. So we're looking to kind of put everyone in the same room,
right?
At no matter what stage their business is at or their ideas at, because a lot of people, and especially with summer coming, they have ideas, and it's how do I get from here to here? We'll have a good bit of our team there to speak to people, about the process of starting businesses, programs that we have. We have so many courses throughout the years, so we'll be incorporating all of that into the space.
I think that, it's interesting because at BDC, that's what we do on a regular basis, right? You as an MSME officer, you speak with people who want to start businesses all the time. And one of the things that I think is important is that you have to meet people where they are. And I do appreciate the fact that there is variety in how we do that, because not everybody feels comfortable to make an appointment and come into the office. Maybe not everybody has a computer, so they can't do a Zoom meeting, or maybe they're not listening to the radio to our voices. If they aren't, what's wrong with them? No, I'm just saying. But I think it is important to create these opportunities, right? To create things that people are comfortable with. But we still are able to get them the information that they need to help them along their journey.
Exactly. And that's exactly what creating the space, the idea of it, really stemmed from, was just getting exactly what you said, those people in the same room. And we all know running a business just isn't easy. A lot of times entrepreneurs do not have time to go to events. And that's why we've structured this event where it's kind of for everybody. But we always have a lot of entrepreneurs that come and they love giving back and speaking to new entrepreneurs. And that's some of the challenges that are on the bingo card, is you have to find an entrepreneur, for example, and ask them about their experiences.
And it's funny that you say that because, we always hear entrepreneurs can be a lonely road and we don't really talk to each other, but you put a group of them in a room and all they're going to do is talk to each other. So I feel like the desire to engage is there, but I think we get so caught up in the day-to-day of making sure the business is working, especially if we have employees, you got to make sure everybody gets paid. So you don't really get a chance to stop and share the knowledge maybe that you've learned from however long you've been doing this. And so creating kind of cocktails with creators and events like this does give them an opportunity to stop and just breathe and share and learn from other people. He said,
in a good space.
Release, relate. So if you talked a little bit about incentivizing the participation, which I think is a great way to get people to start doing it. Can you share some of the kind of incentives that you're thinking about that would be attractive to an entrepreneur, someone starting out?
So some of the different things that we'll have. So one of the things that we did in the last one was we allowed people to choose from two different options. One of them, they're able to take one of our courses throughout the year, or they can pick a business within one of the economic empowerment zones that they'll be able to purchase something from. So we have prizes whether it's St. George's, any zone that they think that this is where I want to go, we'll facilitate the gift certificate and everything of where they want to go. But surprisingly, the majority of the winners from the last event chose a course.
Oh, that's interesting.
Which was interesting to me because a lot of times, and especially when it's a cash prize, people think I want to get but we had so many people that wanted to do a course.
And that's good. That lets you know that people are like, I need support. I want to learn more things.
Exactly. And our courses are fairly, they are robust for any level of where you're at. So whether it's think like an entrepreneur in the early stage, or you have Entrepreneurship 101, or even financials, they're all super important for different people at different stages. And that's where I was a little bit caught off guard, because I thought usually, people are I want to go here, I want to go there. And no, the majority came back and was like, we want courses. So we're gonna integrate that. And of course, we're working on other incentives and prizes with sponsors and that we're looking to bring on for this event.
I mean, it sounds to me like this will be a great opportunity for sponsors, right? Because I know a lot of times people will reach out to us, our partners reach out to us, and they're trying to get in front of those entrepreneurs. And so it's like having them all in this captive space. It's like, why wouldn't you want to be here? So
and just quickly on that, if there is anybody that does think that this is an event that aligns with what they're doing and they are interested in sponsoring, they can definitely reach out to us, and we can definitely have the discussion.
Okay. So remind me of the date.
So it'll be on May 1st, which is a Thursday evening. And it'll be from 6 to 9.
6 to 9. Okay.
Yeah.
At the Botanist,
Yeah.
which is at the Botanical Gardens.
Yeah.
And how do people register for the event?
So they can go right to our site, bedc.bm, and just under events and programs, they'll be able to go through and register. It is a free event. So this is one thing we haven't talked about yet. It is free. So I really encourage, everyone to take, maximize that opportunity. And what we're looking to put on in the event and to sign up and register.
Yeah. I mean, we ask people to register because, of course, it is drinks. There will be like canapes.
Yeah.
Hors d'oeuvres or whatever served as well. So we want to make sure we have a sense of how many people are going to come. Now, you mentioned that previous events you've had like 150 or so people. Is it your expectation that we're going to get that same sort of turnout for this event?
So with this event for this year, we will have to cap it. So the most that we'll be able to allow to come is 120.
Okay. Because of the location.
Because of the space, yeah. Because it will be of where it is, but I think that's a good number, and we found that that's generally the number that does attend is about 120. We always get more bookings, but for this event we won't be allowing it to go too far beyond. So we'll be sending out confirmations and stuff, but I definitely encourage people to sign up, and if you're not going to come, you can always cancel your registration.
RSVP, yeah.
But this one, it will unfortunately have to be a hard cap for this one.
Right. We don't want to be in contravention of any kind of fire codes or anything like that. But I think the location makes a difference, right? I think the whole idea behind having it now is to take advantage of kind of the spring and maybe it's the first event, the BEDC event. Leading into everything that we have going for the rest of the year. Yeah. Now, the title, Cocktails with Creators, why and how did you come up with that?
So that was a name that we came up with at the very beginning. And we were originally looking at like Festival of Entrepreneurship, and this is sort of a Festival of Entrepreneurship. But that's more of a November event. So Cocktails with Creators is something that we found just... everybody likes a little drink.
With,
but of course, for those that don't drink, we do have mocktails. And one of the great things about the Botanist is they actually have I was just told, the largest mocktail list on the island. So there's a good mix of mocktails. But we didn't change the name to Cocktails and Mocktails. but
we get it.
Yeah, but there is mocktails. So for those that don't drink. But we'll also have cocktails. So you'll be able to, when you do come, you sign in, you'll get a couple drink tickets. So you'll have a couple drinks on us. There'll also be a cash bar. But like you said, there will be canapes as well going around. But yeah, Cocktails with Creators
Cocktails with Creators.
It's just a name that we just...
It fits,
works.
and I think it sets the mood for what you're going to expect. Like I can say we do all kinds of networking events and all kind of different opportunities for people to get together and talk. But this one is always, it seems to be a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Even though we serve drinks and things like that at the other events, it's a lot lighter, if that makes sense, which I think is conducive to getting people who may not typically be used to networking to feel at ease about what's going to take place. It's like it's a place where you can share, talk about some of your challenges, get feedback, and that sort of thing without like this whole, pressure, if you will.
Thrown into a room and you're like, where do I go?
I don't know these people.
Yeah. And that's exactly the environment that we look to create, is because we of course have so many events throughout the year, and they're all kind of a little bit different. And with this one, we really look to make it a fun event to attend, with a friend, if you want to, bring a friend, a business partner, and you leave the space to us, and you just come ready to network and ready to just meet other people. And you never know where that next conversation could take your business or take your idea.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned some of the feedback that you've gotten from previous Cocktails with Creators. What's been like a highlight where you've been like, yes, we did that? Can you share a story or something like that with us?
Yeah, so I actually had recently spoken. I say recently, Bermuda recently, a couple months ago. But it was post Christmas, and we had the event in November, and they said, I just want to tell you, from that event, I met this guy that wants to invest in my business, and that was just one of the one of the stories. Another one, she was met a content creator who's helping her with her marketing and stuff. So, and it's those small stories that it was kind of like okay, this is working. And we've heard this over the years where we bring in, because of course we like to invite the banks and people that we think will help to make the space and to work with people with where they're at. But to me, that's one of the best things, is being able to just connect someone who just needs something. And you don't, a lot of times you don't realize it until you have a conversation with someone and they say, oh, this is what I do. And then you might be in a certain situation where you say, well, this is how it can align. And everybody has their different reasons for attending. Some people want to just meet more people. Everything's working fine in their business, but they just want to be out and about. Some people, where do I start with my idea? We'll have the whole team there. So you can come, you can speak to us. What services do we offer? We have so many different amazing things for entrepreneurs. So seeing those types of connections, to me, it just makes, what we do just worth doing what we do.
Right. It helps you to know that you're on the right track.
Exactly.
And like I said earlier, I think it's important to create these opportunities where people feel most comfortable, right? Because everybody's different. Not everybody's going to appreciate or want to come into an office setting or all of that. And so if you can create an environment that will make you relax. So that you can get to the part where you can say, this is what I need. And then if the right people are in the room, then magic can happen.
Exactly. And that's exactly where the bingo card comes in, is it's a randomized prompts. So there's things on there that'll help you to also, even if you are more of an introverted person, to help you to kind of go and make those easier connections. So that's why, we really enjoy it.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely enjoy it. And I'm looking forward to this one because now we're going to be outside. Usually they're inside, right? So now we're going to be outside. So we'll see what that looks like. But I'm really excited for you. Yeah, I know you're excited. It turned into an event plan and you had no idea, right?
I know.
When you took the job at BEDC. But I think it's all a part of it. And I think that's one of the reasons why I enjoy working at BEDC. I think it's because we get to be creative around how we talk about entrepreneurship, how we support those who are looking to start businesses. And this is just one of many ways that we get a chance to support the entrepreneurial community. So remind us of the dates, how to register, and the time.
So it will be on May 1st, or Thursday, May 1st, and it'll be from 6 to 9 at the Botanist at Botanical Gardens. And you'll be able to just go right onto our website. The page, I believe, is up now. So people can start registering.
BEDC.pm.
BEDC.pm, And they'll find it just under events and programs. We also have some other stuff that's coming up as well, different courses and things. So I would definitely encourage people to go and check it out. And then, of course, consider becoming a member. It is free. But with that, you get to stay up to date with our stuff, whether it be by email, social media. But having that account, you'll be able to kind of see some stuff.
And speaking about courses, I know we have a QuickBooks course coming up. So if you are going to incentivize the bingo game with a potential course, then that's a great one to take. That one is always usually fully subscribed because you got to know about your money, right?
Exactly.
And April was Financial Literacy Month. So there you go. It's a nice lead in to our next course offering. But no, I think it's great that you've taken this on. So you're going to do it twice a year, seems.
Twice a year. We're going to try it this year. We're going to try it this year and do it twice. But we are looking to make this an annual spring event.
Okay.
We love kicking off GW with it. And it just, I think having it twice a year, the feedback that we had so much feedback on having it again that we're going to try this one. And hopefully this one's as successful as the other 5. and we'll be able to make this an annual event.
People be looking forward to it. Be
Yeah.
like, when is the
Yeah,
next?
exactly.
Well, that's good. That's a nice problem to have,
Yeah.
right? But again, I think the whole idea around it is just meeting people where they are, creating opportunities for sharing, learning, networking, and we're giving back to our stakeholder group as well, because you're going to be there, other officers are going to be there, and so it's like having your one-on-one sessions, but outside in the park with a drink.
Exactly.
If I had to
It
pick
lightens
one,
it a little bit. You need to sit in an office. You know, we can talk outside. I usually get stopped on the street anyways.
Exactly.
But, you know, you'll be able to find me here. So.
All right. Well, listen, Dennis, it was great catching up with you. Thank you for coming back on
Yes,
Mind Your Business. Yeah, of course. And remember, if you don't mind your business,
who will?
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for tuning in to Mind Your Business with me, your host, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in next week, Thursday at 4 p.m. because if you don't mind your business, who will? Mind Your Business is brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.